Okay, here we go. So, hello everyone from Livein Yorker. This is Joseph with you, and as usual, I have my partner in crime for this show. Hi,
Yes.
Beth.
Hi, Beatrice from Impact PR. Nice to see everybody again. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to see you, and you might hear in the background a special guest that we have today.
She's
Since
off frame, but she's sleeping. This is little Isabella
you
Coco.
love Coco.
Yeah. So that's one of the topics today. So she's a special, spontaneous guest.
So welcome to the world, and welcome home, Coco. Always the star of our show, of course. And Beatrice, so today we have like a few interesting topics we want to talk about. Some, food for thoughts about, the stuff that is going on, but also trying to have a laugh. And I would start with something that I was really intrigued about, which is the future of Airbnb. Especially because we are in New York, Beatrice, we know that Airbnb here, boomed a few years ago, sparking also some controversies, with hotel owners, a way for New Yorkers to make some extra cash. Some people built like an empire on it, like a huge businesses. But what is the problem now? The problem is that, again, some professional hosts, they bought properties, and now they are empty, so they have the mortgage, but they don't have guests. And but that Airbnb was a thing where they were against basically local governments because they tried to take them down. Of course, a lot of people, especially in the hotel industry, didn't really share like nice feelings towards them. So now they're enjoying seeing the house burning down. But I want to show you just briefly some of the headlines because they're pretty consistent. So here we see City Lab. Can Airbnb survive coronavirus? Or we have here how the COVID-19 crisis locked Airbnb out of its own homes. Then this is The Guardian. Then we have The Intelligencer. Will the coronavirus kill Airbnb? So will Airbnb become obsolete after the coronavirus? So do you see a trend here?
Well, I would wonder if the media has against Airbnb. They've actually helped a lot of people, rent their or make some extra money on the side. I actually know a lot of, maybe not exactly legal, but they are able to rent an extra bedroom that they have, or maybe the lower half of their basement level of their house. So it's helped the economy in a lot of ways. So people can make some extra cash, and that moves down the chain. So, but it's funny. I remember when they first started in 2008. That was obviously, everyone knows, the big crash, one of last big crash, and they just started that year. I actually started my own business, my PR firm at the time. And being in the music industry, I was heading down to South by Southwest, the festival in Austin, Texas. And they were just starting, and I found a place through their site, Airbnb. And I actually called them and spoke to the owner, one of the two founders of the company. And they were just starting out. I mean, they were, I think, in their late 20s, just getting out, or maybe a few years out of college. And, so it was exciting. I thought, wow, what a great idea. I was actually wanted to, work with them some more, but I mean, now and a couple years later, they exploded.
Absolutely. Well, actually, when I've been both a host and a guest with Airbnb. And it's always been relatively tricky. It's a great thing. It can be a great option when you are a host, though. You never know who you're gonna get. So there might be reviews, but sometimes I had good experiences. Some other time I had bad experiences. And as a guest, again, sometimes great. Some other times, the host clearly didn't care. He just wanted my money, and of course, guest has always been disadvantaged. Basically, even if the service sucks and you're not happy, there is no way you can get a refund. So some policies have always been, a little bit controversial. But the point is that for some people, again, they build a business out of this, and now they really don't have the the sympathy of some categories, again, hotels. But on that side, I would say that I haven't seen something that was actually auspicable, because especially here in New York, we know about our taxis, right? Our taxi cabs were awful, and thanks to Lyft and Uber, they actually had to step up their game. And I hope that something like that would happen with hotels, but it didn't happen. They just complain about it and saying, but this is not legal, it's shady. Well, it is legal and it's not shady. You have the right to dislike it and disagree, but hey, why you didn't step up your game and try to make hotels a little bit cheaper and rooms a little bit cleaner and hotels a little bit nicer, right?
Well, I think that also, it changed the way that hotels were doing business. You had your typical call-in reservation number and rented a room that way. But now, if they got an elaborate network. I know, Hilton and Marriott hotels have vacation resort networks, very similar to RCI back in the 80s or 70s, 60s. And Airbnb really made it more digital, made it more online. And now anybody can be a host. Anybody can, jump on and find a room in the middle of Tahiti that they would never have thought of going. But I really liked their mission, or their, concept was about, it wasn't just about finding a room to go to your cousin's wedding. It was to connect hosts and travelers with really unique experiences in different parts of the world that you would have never gone to.
Well, absolutely. And I tell you something even more interesting. As a matter of fact, in Italy, it boomed. And for a lot of tourists from abroad, that was great, because most of the time, Italian culture and the hospitality, the welcoming culture of Italy, the experience for foreigners was uncomparable, was much, much better with Airbnb, because usually the host would take care of you. Would be also somehow your, guide around the city, would take you to places, would give you tips about where to go to eat, because everybody in Italy has a friend that has a restaurant, a pizzeria, or an ice cream shop. So actually, the experience was arguably way better for an Airbnb guest, because you go to a city you don't know, and you imagine you go to an apartment in the center of Rome, and you have a buddy who's taking you around. How can you beat that? It's impossible.
I agree. And well, with the increase of basically everybody on Facebook, you can easily look up hosts. It's not as much of a mystery. Who are you going to rent this this house or apartment from? So with that combined with the accessibility and convenience of Airbnb, I think it was a great concept that, was a great formula.
Yeah, but here, what they are pointing out here, these articles, is the financial struggle that, of course, now it's involved for a sector that has been arguably, the one hit like the hardest, right? Because the point is, like, the whole model is based on people's mobility, and what happened also was that for the first time, Airbnb privileged the guests, so they allow the guests to cancel for free, basically, so no penalties, and the hosts were infuriated because Airbnb did that. So then some of the internet people went after the host, saying, stop whining and crying. You were making a lot of money, and of course, if guests cannot travel or it's not safe, it's not about the money, it's about public health. So you shouldn't complain. But there were these videos of angry hosts, like doing these videos on Twitter, cursing and yelling at Airbnb for what they've done. And so there are some concerns about the future, because again, we don't know for how long we won't be able to travel. Many hosts, again, they had maybe 10, 11, 15 properties. They still have to pay the mortgages, but the cash flow is zero. So if from Bloomberg,
it's not just the people not able to travel, it's definitely, these hosts are not making the money. But it's hurting the people in the airline business. It's hurting everybody. So
yeah,
so
yeah. When it comes to airlines, you're right. That is another sector, another business area that has heavily hit by this. And you have some interesting data, right, about what happened to them.
Well, I obviously pull it from other resources, but Business Traveler just let it, but basically listed some of the major airlines that are getting a bailout from the CARES Act, which is the U.S. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. And so you have your major airlines, such as American Airlines. They're receiving $5.8 billion for their payroll support program, or from the payroll support program to support staff salaries and benefits. Delta is receiving $5.4 billion. Southwest is receiving $3.2 billion, and United will be receiving $5 billion. So this is serious because, on one hand, it is supporting huge companies that are obviously making, losing out on billions of dollars themselves, but this also affects the staff that are employed. You've got millions upon millions of people that are personnel, security workers, airline workers, airline pilots, on down to the people that check the bags. So this is really, again, just injecting some cash into the economy so people are not destitute and unemployed, So.
Yeah, well, definitely. The point is that, of course, it's a controversial topic because what has happened in the past is that when the government has bailed out these companies, then some of the money went to executive bonuses. And I think that's when, people got enraged. But, the principle, I think it's absolutely correct. Let's remember that in America, that is the main way we travel because of the size of this beautiful, amazing country. And if we don't have airlines, what we're going to do? It's impossible. And also, as you said, it's a whole environment from the people who works at the custom and luggage and the shops inside the airport, and very qualified personnel. Let's remember the pilots, the engineers, the people who run the maintenance, control tower. These are elite jobs. And again, I think that they try to put some kind of clause where you can keep the money as far as you don't, again, use this money to pay dividends or.
Well, I think that was. Yeah, back then they failed to specify how the money could be used. That's why it went to a lot of a few pockets, unfortunately. But
just a distraction, right? It's like, whoop.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
this is directly supporting staff salaries and benefits. So I think in a way, that's a good thing because it's going to the people that work for them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Again, we definitely need, airplanes flying. So one way or another, we have to compromise. Hopefully, there will be. There's going to be also some responsibility. I think people are much more, vigilant now. So if they actually use this money not for the employees but for the executives, yes, the backlash could be massive. And now really they have to fight for their survival. You think flight tickets are going to be cheaper? Or
I think they definitely are cheaper now. It's I know a fellow coworker. He just went from New York to LA, and his ticket was I don't know, maybe $100 or something. I mean, it was there's barely any people in the airport, and it's probably obviously it would be a great time to travel. But again, you have to weigh the risks, obviously. Yeah. So, but we'll see. Everything is shifting as far as where people's money is going to. Airline tickets, we may not see a shift back for a while.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And might be the chance to go see a city that you haven't seen, or maybe enjoy the outdoor. We have so many great parks in America. You can practice some nice social distancing in Utah, Colorado, Montana.
things too. It's now that they're starting to, I guess, loosen the ban on, or loosen the lockdowns, if you will. Now you can plan a trip just, maybe in the next couple of days, as opposed to planning months ahead, where you can go and see your granddaughter, go and see your mother, very inexpensively. And that's one of the things also now. It's, having a baby during this pandemic, you really can't have anybody visit your baby. My mom is in Virginia, we're in New York, and she can only see her daughter or granddaughter through FaceTime or through video chat. So, but this is once we get tests more readily available and we can start traveling again, I would definitely be looking into getting some cheap airline tickets myself.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm planning the same thing. So yeah, let's definitely get take a look at it. And that said, on a different note, since again you and your husband just became parents, I thought to do something funny for you guys, to share some funny pictures of that parents have taken during this quarantine. I'm gonna put full screen because it's really worth it. So look here. So this parent, in order to discipline their kids, they basically start selling the snacks to their own kids, and they have shown the store hours and how to earn the money in order to buy those snacks, and they're using Monopoly money. So I think this is genius. So if in your room you get $20.
That's a great idea.
And it's a microeconomic system, because you see, like, brownies are 250. So that's a lot. While chips are 10 times less. 25.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah. And what is most valuable?
Exercise. I love that.
Exercise. Yeah.
$150 for 30 minutes. Huh. That's what a great idea.
Absolutely. I think they're going to keep this going even afterwards, Then, of course, you have kids who, somehow have to find a distraction. So this mom has to deal with Spider-Man. But then we have this, of course, when parents are busy. The dog is giving, some lessons to the kids.
I love it. He's got glasses on.
Cats are bad and dogs are good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Then here, this mom, social distancing, day 12. Today, my kids wanted me to wear my wedding dress at lunch, and I couldn't think of a reason not to. So, parents also have learned to, to be, to use some irony. Yeah.
Sure.
This again, some of your kids might go really wild, so some of them might have watched the wrong show or saw the wrong stuff somewhere.
Wow, where'd you get that from?
I don't know. Here you see this graphic, level of tolerance for alcohol. As the quarantine goes on, the tolerance for alcohol goes higher. The tolerance for your children definitely goes down.
That's great.
Also here, desperate message of some parents writing on their driveway, "Save me from my kids."
Oh my God.
Yeah, and this one is the best one. The mother taped the kids on the floor.
What an ingenious idea.
This is hilarious.
Very well, though. Yeah.
This is like a shining moment, when they're like creeping you from the door.
Beyond the office.
Yeah. This as well, yeah. So.
Oh no. It's a mini professor.
Yes, mini me. Yeah, and of course, getting dirty.
Right. Okay. I was wondering what that was. Okay.
Yeah. And these are kids who have basically camped in the living room.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Cozy fort. And yeah, so
that's awesome. Well, I should share some pictures of my own. Oh, sorry. Might have to. Yeah. But like I said, we just got our little Coco arrived just a couple days ago, and we're already in if I pan the room, which I won't do, we're amidst boxes and baby diapers and wipes and cribs and equipment. Literally behind the computer is full of other stuff that I won't mention, but
Yeah, talking about that. So Coco is again from the COVID-19 era.
She is. She's a hearty little girl. She's she actually was born 2 months early. We weren't expecting her until mid-June. And so she went through a little bit of a tough spell. Mommy did for a little bit too, but we able to get through it. And she just came back from the NICU after spending 4 weeks there. But I was, everyone says, and we're in New York, and you had a baby. How did you get through this? With everything going through. And I have to say, I shout out to our hospital and my our NICU staff. They did an amazing job. And anybody obviously who has to work in a hospital on a day-to-day basis, they were just excellent. Mercy Medical Center was tremendous in terms of making the split decision. Our Dr. Patrick McManus is fantastic here in Long Beach and made the split decision to deliver early. So we got her out, saved her, and then the nurses at Mercy just absolutely nursed her to complete health. She is just absolutely healthy and couldn't be a healthier little girl. So we're so thrilled.
Absolutely. Shout out to the medical personnel, and Coco didn't want to miss a bit of this.
No. Definitely, her character is going to be a very strong as she grows up. And then she was home she actually came right after my birthday, and she came home right before Mother's Day. So she arrived, I should say, in the world right before Mother's Day. So we were able to celebrate both. So we're very excited about that.
That's awesome. But you also you had some interesting, tip about motherhood.
Advice from pregnant mothers, or from pregnant mothers during this pandemic. A New York Times article recently had basically advice from 5 pregnant mothers, and just basically showing that despite of the hardship that you're going through right now, there's always a silver lining. So one said that they're experiencing not being able to have visitors, parents, spouse see their newborn. And their advice was, you've got to trust your own judgment as a mom. You have to tune in to what the best decision is. And I think, obviously this is all very intuitive. And I totally agree with that. I literally have been working from home myself, and the silver lining is that I get to spend. I'm still working,
as you can see, guys,
and been still able to spend time with her, and be home for her. So there is the silver lining about that. Also the fact that, not being able to touch or kiss your baby, feel her skin, and in the NICU, I had to go in with mask and goggles, and not be able to kiss her. And my husband actually was not able to come in at all. He actually didn't meet her until she physically came home a month later. Seeing her through FaceTime. But that's another way we're connecting and finding other ways to connect. So another advice would be that find other ways to creatively connect with your loved ones, with your parents. I'm seeing my 86-year-old mother is getting very adept at FaceTime, which she would never have known, and we've never have done before. And he's just absolutely thrilled and just beyond excited to see little Coco for the first time.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of people through Zoom. We had a virtual baby shower just a week ago. We're having another one this weekend, and just in order to introduce all of our friends and family and all of our loved ones to this new beautiful little life that we have now on Earth with us. So FaceTime and Zoom and GChat we're using all the time, which I'm sure everybody is. But also the fact that we're able to order everything online. We are every piece of equipment here has been through Amazon or Target, and so we're not feeling deprived or closed off. She is definitely got everything that she ever would want. And we're all able to do this all still from the comfort of our home. So we're blessed and fortunate, not only that we had great care, but also we're able to get everything that we need. And just a couple other little pieces of advice. The most important thing is that your babies feel love. I mean, that, despite the fact that no one can come and visit her, no one can come and, you can't, my husband couldn't see her. But she knew that, he was there. He'd sing to her on FaceTime all the time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Again, we are blessed that we have this technology these days that we can actually do this. We take it for granted. But yesterday I didn't have the internet for Wi-Fi for 20 minutes, and for a moment I thought, well, wow, if I didn't have internet over this quarantine, what would I have done? We have to, keep in mind, remember that, the privileges that we have. And we went through this, it's been almost 3 months, and now we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And let's see what's going to happen to New York City, but that's a topic for another day. Anyway, I think that we were able to cover pretty much everything. And of course, Beatrice, we hope that, people like what we're doing. If you do, guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to do this actually now that, Coco is back home and Beatrice can manage her schedule a little bit better. We have the good news that we're going to do this a little bit more often. As usual, if you would like us to, talk about any topics specifically, please leave a comment and remember to share the video. So from Joseph, Chief Editor of Livein Magazine, that's all for today. And Beatrice?
And Beatrice, I'm President of Impact PR. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye from Beatrice and little Coco.
Yep.
For now.
My little princess. Thank you, Beatrice.
All right. Bye.
Okay.